Yes, 8th class. Good morning, all of you. Yes, dear students, today I am going to recapitulate the chapter The Constitution of India. Yes, my dear students, first of all, what does it mean? What is a constitution? The constitution is a set of rules according to which a country is governed. Means all the rules and regulations written in one place according to which the government takes help from the constitution to make the new rules, or you can say to follow the rules. So all the rules and regulations are available to us in a written form, that is in the book of constitution. So this is the very first page of the constitution, that is called preamble, and some of the features they are written here, and we will just discuss it later on. First of all, why do we need a constitution? So, dear students, we need a constitution to govern a country properly, because in living such a vast country where we are having 3.28 million square kilometer area, and in billions we are having a number of population, that means we need something in a written form. Means everything is written, because as you know, the powers they are in the hand of common people. So in the hands of common people, so they are not able to take all the decisions individually. So it is very much required that all the rules and regulation must be collected on one place, so that it will be easier for the government to handle the things. So second thing, the constitution defines the nature of political system of a country. Means if we are reading the constitution, if we have read the only the first page of the constitution, then also we are able to define what type of features they are there in constitution. Next, sometimes we feel strongly about an issue that might go against our larger interest, and the constitution help us guard against this. Means maybe if we feel that in constitution everybody they have the right, everybody duties and rights they are written in that. Even the constitution put a check on the power, like if the government is ruling over the India, so also a check on the government also, so they should not misuse their power. Means the constitution guard us our rights and duties also. So all the three organs of the government, means the executive, legislature and judiciary, functions within the constitution. Means that all the organs, whether they are the executive, legislature and judiciary, they all work according to the constitution. So first of all, here I want to discuss something with you, that is a different organs about the constitution. So first one I will take legislature. The legislature is an organ who make the laws for the country, and that is not only the make the laws, even they can amend the laws also. Means they can change the previous laws also. Any change in the constitution means there is an amendment. The amendment is used to change anything in the constitution, and that is also properly followed by a channel. Second thing is executive. Those who execute the laws, those who tell the people now we are having new laws with us. The third one is judiciary. The judiciary is there to maintain the laws. Means every organ have its own requirement. So all the three organs of the government, including ordinary citizens, derive their power and authority. That is fundamental rights. As you know that we are having six fundamental rights with us, that is given to us by the side of the constitution. If they act against it, it is unconstitutional and unlawful. So everybody, they have to follow their or rights or duties also. So constitution is required to have authoritative allocation of power and function, and also restrict them within its limit. As I have told you, that put a check on the government also. So, the history of the constitution. Yes, my dear friends, in 1950, the new constitution came into an effect. But before that, it doesn't mean we don't have any laws or rules or regulations with us. So, if talking about the Emperor Ashoka Maurya, established constitutional principles, engraved them in major rocks, pillars, and on minor rocks for public to take references. And these, all the inscriptions, they were known as the edicts of Ashoka, means all the rules and regulations for the people, they were written, they were engraved on inscriptions. So next, then East India Company, when they takes total administrative control by the gaining right of taxation in Bengal after the Battle of Plassey. So then they made some rules for Indians also. So East India Company takes total unified control over the whole of India from a single center in Calcutta, and their rule ended in the revolt of 1857. Up to that, the East India Company, they ruled over us near about 100 years. And after the 1857, then the British Queen hold the power in India. Then this period was known as the British Raj, was the time when the Constitution of India took shape. So under the British Raj, when the leaders of India, they just keep on thinking that we must have freedom with us. So for that we have to write some of the rules and regulations. And finally, Constitution of India, created in independent India by its own free people, was adopted on 26 November 1949 and came into effect on 26 Jan 1950. So as we know it and use it today. Now, the father of our constitution, that was the Bhim Rao Ambedkar. He became the chairman of its drafting committee of constitution on December 11, 1946. Many other more members were there. So the main 7 members who work under him, the chairman, they were names, it is written here. So I'm just highlighting all the names. These were the 7 major names. So a drafting committee was elected by the Constituent Assembly on 29th August 1947. It elected Dr. B.R. Ambedkar to be its president, means the chairman. The constitution as prepared by the drafting committee was circulated on 21st Feb 1948. This formed the basis of discussion in and outside the Constituent Assembly. The drafting committee had 7 members apart from the chairman, which I have told you. The names, they are written here also. So he was considered the father of the constitution because he put a lot of efforts in it, and he was the chairperson also. Now, some features of the Indian Constitution. The first, written and lengthiest. Yes, my dear students, in India, or you can say, India is having the lengthiest or the longest constitution in the world, the written constitution. It is a written one under Britain Constitution, means we have taken some rules from the Britain also, from the Britishers also, and Indian Constitution also the lengthiest, I have told you. Then the preamble, as I have shown you, that preamble, it shows the salient features or you can say the nature of the constitution. With the points I'm highlighting, that justice, equality, secularism, individual dignity, fraternity, and national unity aspirations of the Indian people. Second, in the republic, as a republic country, people have the freedom to exercise their rights from their own government and to elect the head of the government. Next, people's government. So it provides citizens to have a form of government which is of the people, by the people, and for the people. A democratic set of government, dear students. People have to elect their own representative, means the power they are in the hand of the common people, those who can elect their head. And if they feel that the head is not working according to their wishes, according to their aspirations, so the people has the power, have the power to change the things also. Next is the fundamental rights. It has a provision of 6 unique and fundamental rights granted to the citizens. The government can't take away any of these rights by unlawful means, but in some circumstances, at the time of emergencies, like as under the COVID-19, we have to stay in our houses. That means we are not having one fundamental right with us to move out freely. Yes, my dear students, due to COVID-19, this right has been taken by the government back due to some emergency conditions. So, before, if there is any emergency, so maybe one or two rights can be taken back by the government, but only in some urgent conditions. Next is a secularism. As per the principle of secularism, means the government, it doesn't have any official religion. That means because we are living such a country where we are having a number of religions with us. So our constitution does not promote any one religion or does not promote any official religion. Up to that, the state can't have a bias or inclination towards any particular religion. Means in India, everybody is free to adopt any religion. So today we have discussed what is the need of the constitution, and one more question can be there, that is which country have the longest written constitution? That is obviously India. Now the features of Indian constitution, and in tomorrow the next video we will discuss about the features of preamble. Up to that, you have to revise it and be prepared for your exams. Thank you and have a nice day.